It's time for AggroChat, the official podcast of the Tales of the Aggronaut blog and stalwart gaming community, where we talk about stuff and things, and the stuff about the things, and sometimes gaming. I'm Belghast, and let's start the show.
Hey folks, it's that time again. Time for another episode of AggroChat. This is episode 392. Tonight I'm joined by Ammo.
Hello.
And Thalen.
Hey.
A very abbreviated list of people. We're down a lot of people, and we were kind of trying to decide if we were going to wing it. And in the spirit of AggroChat, we're winging it.
Figure out something to talk about.
I guess I could talk about the really dumb idea that I had that I'm in the middle of doing. So one thing that's kind of bugged me for a really long time is it took us 74 episodes before I ever put any of them up on YouTube. So we have episode 74 through soon to be 392 up on YouTube. But like there's this gap of missing episodes, never made their way there. And I don't know if I couldn't have done this from the start or it just took me 74 episodes to figure out it was a thing I could do, but this has always sort of bothered me. And also, I've kind of like mentally labeled a lot of those early episodes as just being bad. And it turns out like once some basic audio editing has been applied, they are considerably more listenable. And I am trying to slowly work through the backlog and get them up on YouTube. And
they weren't bad. It was just the beta.
Yeah, it was the beta. Like we didn't have a clue what we were doing. We didn't have any semblance of a structure. I know there's certain things.
Neither of those things has changed.
Well, like we do have a structure though. Like we kind of have a structure.
I mean, vaguely.
We have an introduction and we have a list of topics. And other than that, it is the essence of AggroChat to go off topic. But in the early days, we sort of had this whole what's everybody been up to?
Mm-hmm.
Where you go around the table and pressure everyone to say what they've been up to. But I know like one significant change that happened was entirely triggered by us trying to get press passes at PAX South and also PAX East. PAX has these weird rules for podcasts where like everybody on the podcast has to be introduced within like the first 10 seconds of an episode or something like that. So
yeah, I remember you having to deal with that.
Yeah, so like a lot of the reason why we do the introduction the way that we do now was me attempting to work around that constraint. But it's like funny, like that's very much a part of the show now. It's like we do the intro, then we do this quick everybody say hi thing, and then we roll into topics.
We do a modicum of planning ahead of time.
It does kind of make me wonder, like, as I am uncovering different episodes, and like I'm kind of listening to them as I'm editing them, like what other things from the past did we used to do that like I am not remembering that was a thing?
Yeah. Maybe there was some good stuff back there that we should bring back.
Maybe, yeah, like maybe that's the thing.
I know I listened to a few episodes a while back, like starting with episode 1, just because I was cleaning up in my office. That's what it was. And I just wanted some background noise. So I was like, what the heck? And it was very entertaining listening to what people were looking forward to in 2014.
I know.
Knowing what we know about some of that stuff.
Well, what's hilarious is like on the first show, I am talking about getting into the Fortnite alpha.
This cool building game. But
yeah. Not the Battle Royale nonsense that came later, but the actual building tower defense type game. It's funny to go back there. And like the only bad takeaway, and I talked about this a little bit on Twitter, is I seemed like a much happier person back in 2014.
We were all much happier back in 2014.
We've seen some stuff. Like, it's been a lot of things. Because, like, 2014 was pre-Gamergate. 2014 was pre all these other things happening. 2014 was pre-Blizzard turning into a hellscape. Although, technically, Blizzard was already a hellscape. We just didn't know it at
We
that
didn't know
point.
about it yet. Yeah.
And ignorance was apparently bliss.
Also,
Yeah,
I think
just
maybe
so
we have
weird.
an Ash now.
Oh,
Hello.
hey,
Hey,
Ash.
Ash.
Hello.
So we started the show, and maybe as we keep going, we'll pick up a Kodra along the way as well.
Who knows?
I was talking about the nonsense of me going back and editing our old episodes and putting them on YouTube.
Yeah, I caught that.
So,
I still think it's nonsense.
oh, it is. It's
Yeah.
absolutely nonsense. I don't know how long I will continue to do a custom intro to each and every episode I re-release. It's usually just me as a running commentary on what the show is, but
Oh yeah, all the multiple shows in a row talking about this cool new game Hex. How
yeah,
excited everybody
yeah.
was about Hex.
Oh,
Oh God, there's like you almost want to warn your past self. Yeah, no, that's not going to be what you think it is. Like me being excited about H1Z1.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure at some point we talk about WildStar.
I mean,
we talk about WildStar
a
multiple
lot.
times.
Yeah. I
The
mean,
th-
WildStar was going for a while. We were playing it for a while.
And the thing is like I said, it was kind of a kinder, simpler time because at that point we really hadn't had quite as many games crash and burn as we have now.
Yeah. Like a few had been canceled, but even mostly the ones that I can think of that had been canceled, like
Star
it
Wars
had
Galaxies.
been after a while. Like Star Wars Galaxies ran for a good long time before it got ended.
I don't know. I think even City of Heroes was still technically
No.
functional at that point.
No, City of Heroes is gone.
When did it go away? I don't know. But yeah, like I mean it's there were just like it was a more hopeful time.
Yeah.
City of Heroes shut down in 2012.
Okay.
So not
it
long
had already been
before,
gone.
but yeah, a couple years.
I mean, I hadn't touched it in a really long time. I think the last time I went back and played some City of Heroes was 2008-ish. Because a friend of mine was back playing it and talking about it on the regular. Yeah, it's been weird opening that time capsule. But I will say, with some basic audio editing, they are much more enjoyable experiences than they were. Like they're also a lot shorter because this is back when I hadn't learned the joy of truncate silence.
All those long, awkward pauses just stuck around.
I mean, we still record long, awkward pauses, but y'all don't hear them because
Yeah.
I magically edit them out with a single command. Like, I remember trying to actually edit some of these shows and get rid of pauses manually, and it taking like 2 hours to edit the stupid show, and I gave up.
Yeah, no, that sounds awful.
Anyway, like that's a thing. Like I'm trying to do one a day. I have failed today because we had a family thing. So they'll get released whenever they get released. And it will make me happy once I don't have this gap of missing episodes.
Yeah.
So something that has taken place that we never really talked about. We talked about the first episode, but Living World Season 1, Episode 2 has dropped. And it actually dropped at the beginning of the month. I think it was the beginning of the month.
Sky Pirates in the Sky.
I gotta say, like, I kind of have mixed feelings about this episode.
Yeah.
Like
Is it because you know too much about one of the characters involved?
It's really because I know too much about one of the characters involved now. Like having finished End of Dragons, at this point I know a lot about that character.
Right.
And it kind of like that's not to say in episode 1 I didn't know a lot about Rox and I didn't know a lot about Bram and I didn't know a lot about Ritlock. But it's a different kind of experience when you're presented a detective story, and because they named the characters, you know exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah, you already know who done it.
Like, I kind of wish they had given one of the characters just a generic name or something, because in truth, like the current model looks considerably different than the original or than the later model.
I mean,
So
the thing to remember is when this was released, that name meant nothing.
Yep.
Right, exactly. Well, and fractals didn't exist, so we wouldn't know the character from them either.
Right.
It felt way shorter than episode 1.
Episode 1 has kind of a mega dungeon in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's 2 dungeony type
Right,
things
but they're
in
way
episode
shorter.
1. Well, like episode 1 had 2 dungeons in
Yeah.
it too.
Because it's got the Rocks instance and the Bram instance,
Yep.
and then the dungeon.
Right.
Whereas
So,
Sky
like-
Pirates doesn't have those completely separate instances fighting stuff. Like
You
you're,
have the sort of Lion's Arch thing at the start of the celebration.
Yeah, I mean,
there is that.
But it's kind of like there's not a lot to that either.
No, there's really not.
I mean, especially if you can clear, world mobs, it goes really quickly. And then there's the whole detective plot, and again, like I said, it kind of spoils it. The thing that I wasn't fully prepared for is how just exact these are from the fractal versions. Like, having not experienced these the original time, I was not prepared for just how I'm running the fractal, it feels.
Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, they took that dungeon and they split it into 2 fractals, and like there's a little bit of there's the bit after the first boss, leading up to the second boss that isn't in either fractal. Like technically you can like backtrack and see some of that, but there's no enemies in there in the fractal. But the fights
you actually have to backtrack and see some of that if you're working on the backpack.
You do. But yeah, the fights aren't like massively different than what you've seen in the fractals.
Yeah, I was very prepared for the fights. But I mean, I did enjoy the introduction to Kaz and Jory.
Yeah.
Because like those were characters that I really did not enjoy in 2 because they kind of just got sprung on me and I wasn't really sure what to do with either of them.
Yeah, now we know how we originally met them.
Yeah, and like it makes a lot more sense now. It links up better. That whole the restoration of Liverworld 1 is just so important. Like, and I'm glad that it is happening because it has been like one of the core problems that I've had with the story and is just this massive gap. And I think they're doing a pretty good job of it. I know when I did episode 2, there was a bit of a bug going on where you weren't getting enough credit in the Bloodfin section.
Huh.
Where like I had to do 35 events.
Oh wow.
To complete that section.
I didn't have to do anywhere near that.
There was a bug in the patch notes that went out like the second or third day. They fixed that one.
Wow. Yeah, no, I like hit the dead drops, and at nearly every dead drop a pirate spawned, and by the time I had finished doing all of that and beating up those pirates, I think I needed like 3 more events.
Well, so the other problem is the lieutenant that you were supposed to go talk to wasn't marked on the map.
Yeah,
so
that
you were
is
just
true,
told
yes.
to drop into the zone and start doing events.
Oh, so you didn't have the thing to tell you where the dead drops were.
I didn't even have the dead drops.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so like finally someone said, "Oh, hey, you need to go to this place and find this lieutenant and talk to them first."
Yeah,
and even after that, it took a long time to fill the bar. But I mean, I can forgive a bug. Do we have a date for episode 3 yet?
I don't think we do.
I don't think we do.
I don't think we even know which chunk of the story is going to be in episode 3 yet. My guess would be the Four Winds Festival and the Queen's Jubilee, that stuff, but I don't know.
I don't know, because chronologically what would have come was Mad King.
They might do all the set, yeah, but none of that there's nothing specific to the Mad King part of season 1 that needs to be brought back. So like nothing happened there. Like that
was just the introduction of all the stuff that they now do every Halloween, right?
Yeah, exactly. There's nothing related to Scarlet or any of that in there.
I noticed in one of the towns, like there's gossip going on about the Mad King that I don't remember being there before.
But yeah, my guess would be either. I mean, I'm assuming it's either going to be the South Sun stuff or the Queen's Jubilee.
It makes sense for it to be the South Sun stuff because that would introduce Canuck.
Yeah, go ahead and get him introduced.
It was interesting rolling into sort of fake Dragon Bash in episode 2, and now we're in the middle of actual Dragon Bash. Because at first I was like, wait, are they just going to roll out Dragon Bash early?
I thought that too. Like, wait a second, what's going on?
Yeah, speaking of Dragon Bash, it is Dragon Bash now. So you can
time to go break some pinatas.
Yeah, beat up pinatas, get taffy, fight holograms. Even if you don't want the skins out of the dragon coffers, you can hawk them on the trading post for like 17 silver each. So
The
Feed
coffers or the skins?
the coffers.
feed Taffy to a sad ghost because I'd never gotten that achievement.
I'm never going to do that.
He does not deserve your taffy.
I'm never going to do that.
I ticked a box, man.
Oh, Drubert.
Doesn't Drubert appear in basically every holiday?
Yes.
Yes, and it is almost never worth your time to pay him any attention at all.
He's real loud about it though.
Like at
Sure is.
like at New Year's, he's apparently actually useful as a way to do something with luck. Like
but
what
like-
you get from it
Assuming
is
you've already
actually-
done all the actual useful things with luck, right? Like
Right.
buy your clovers and your exchange vouchers and so on and so
Oh
forth.
yeah. No, this is for people who got their Magic Find maxed years ago and just build up masses and masses of luck waiting for New Year's. Apparently, what they do with it is feed it to Drubert.
That's not a thing that's I still have lots of need for Magic Find.
You know,
Have you hit the cap?
no, not even remotely close.
I don't even know what the cap is, but I know I'm so far
300.
off.
I think the cap from luck is 300. I'm up to 237.
I'm at 241, but even then, that's not actually all from luck.
Some of that's from achievements.
Yeah, I only have 136 luck, so I have a long ways to go. What's the next holiday after Dragon Bash?
4 wins.
Probably Four Winds Festival.
Yeah. Which
I think that-
and also the Queen's Coliseum or whatever it's called. Because they always do those together.
So I know I talked a little bit about Diablo Immortal last week. And in this past week, I have continued to play the game because I don't know, like to some extent, I kind of wanted to see just how deep this rabbit hole went.
Mhm.
Because like the number one complaint that you will read from the monetization apologists is, well, they didn't play enough of the game.
Monetization apologists.
What?
Yes, that is a thing that exists.
They're always
Sure.
going to be out there.
But you can usually just ignore them.
Right. So I'm like, okay, well, like, I will get to cap, I will see what this experience is. And at this point, I am 56 out of 60. And then after 60, obviously, Paragon levels start, which is a thing. But essentially, from level 30 on, about every 5 levels, the game clamps down on the leveling speed. So you can kind of
course.
shoot up to 20 real fast and then shoot up to 30 in a reasonable manner. But like after 30, it's a grind. Like, and there's a bunch of gaps in the story where it's 2x level.
That's-
so
I was going to say it's kind of weird, but then I would think about it, like that's not that uncommon for
Right.
free play games.
right.
Annoying as
So-
it is.
So that involves like just running around the world, grinding random mobs. And that is mechanically enjoyable because so some of what I said last week was a little incorrect. Like I had said that this game felt kind of un-Diablo like because it seemed to be way more about pressing things on cooldowns than on the actual interplay of abilities. That ceases to be true eventually. When you start getting legendary items, like legendary pieces of gear, those essentially have embedded into them the runes from Diablo 3. So specific pieces of legendary gear will allow you to build out the equivalent of a character build template like you would in Diablo 3. That, of course, means that, like, in order to get any specific build, you're going to have to chase legendary drops, which are thankfully not gated behind a paywall, but also there seems to be some sort of an internal timer that only allows you to get so many of them a day. I don't know the specifics, but the game adds in, okay, so like the game has the standard Diablo trope of blue enemies are like champions and then yellow enemies are elite, and it adds a new tier which are like legendary enemies. So if you see a orange skull on your map, that is essentially an elite that has a much higher chance of dropping a legendary item. and kind of just grinding an area will eventually make one of these appear.
Okay.
And it seems like the first time you kill one of these, you are guaranteed a piece of legendary armor. And then the second time you kill it, I've mostly gotten another instant piece of armor, but like from 3 onwards, it's real hit and miss if it drops anything. And that's kind of the part that makes this feel very not Diablo, is I equate Diablo to this almost seizure-inducing cadence of loot drops.
Right.
Like, just flood me with loot. That's Diablo. And
I mean, that was one of the key things. We probably even talked about this. If you're going back and listening to the old podcast, you might even find it. Reaper of Souls, Diablo 3 was not like this until Reaper of Souls launched.
right, exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, like Diablo 3 post Reaper of Souls is what I am used to. And honestly, Diablo 1 and 2 were pretty good about just flooding you with loot as well. Like going back and playing those. Like you get a lot of loot. You really kind of get an anemic amount of loot, and it's mostly not useful loot, because if it is blue or white quality, you might as well not pick it up.
Not even
Because
to like break down.
you'll like, I have so many of the like blue doesn't turn into anything special. As far as like crafting materials, there's just the white quality material and the yellow quality material. And then there's like 2 versions of the yellow quality material. One that you can't get through breaking things down, and you have to like chase events to get it. But most of the time, like unless it's yellow quality, it's not worth even breaking down because I have so many of the white materials. So like it feels kind of crappy when you get like a flood of gold and a flood of blue and white materials, but none of those are useful things, because like not even gold is really that useful. So like really you're chasing legendary drops, and you're chasing anything yellow quality, which seem to be rationed out at a real speed. But I have managed to get enough legendary drops to where I have some viable builds going on, which is great until you get another legendary item that has up arrows on it. And the way that this game functions, like the stats on an item are completely meaningless. Like there are a handful of stats that you can have on an item, but it's just the number of stats. So like if your item has 74 points of stats on it, and an item with 115 points of stats on it drops, you should equip the 115 point item, because it is going to increase your attack power and defensive power, which is a generic embiggened stat that makes you do better. So it's like it's all about that one number going up, and also your resonance going up, and your resonance is improved by the power of the gems that you have.
Which we've already talked about. What a
Which
mess
we've already-
that is.
Yeah, we've already talked about that mess.
Hello.
Hello. Hi, I'm here.
Hi.
I'm Kodra. Is there any other reason for gear other than numbers, though? Other than numbers and looks, I guess.
Well, no, I think I said this before you popped in, but legendary items basically have the equivalent of Diablo 3 runes on them. So like they will change how an item functions. So like,
you get a cool item with the right runes, but it doesn't
Yep.
matter because this next item does 20% more damage.
So like until you really hit the true end game, it's going to be real hard to maintain any resemblance of a build, because you're going to get an item that like you should probably switch to, because it's significantly better. And also there is essentially the equivalent of mythic forging or whatever the hell that system was from World of Warcraft, where
That was the worst system ever.
you can get this item that is randomly better than any other item.
That was the dumbest shit ever.
So like legendaries have the ability to roll as exceptional legendaries, but there's nothing telling you that they're exceptional other than the fact that like instead of 2 stats, it has 3 stats. Which again, this number that needs to go up only really counts about the total number of stat points on an item.
Right.
So like it doesn't care that like instead of 65 strength and 65 willpower, this new item has 55 strength, 55 willpower, and 55, I don't know, some other random stat. You want the new item because it has more total points.
I just feel like, so Ash brought up Reaper of Souls, and how bad Diablo 3 felt pre-Reaper of Souls, and just everything I hear about Immortal makes me think that they were like, no, we weren't wrong about Reaper of Soul about Diablo 3. It's the kids who were wrong.
Like
We'll show them.
The thing is like, okay, if you could toss the itemization, or you could toss the monetization out the window.
That's a big if.
Like again, this is big Imagine Land. If you could toss that out the window, this would be a pretty fun mobile Diablo experience. Like there's a bunch of things going on, and running bounties is fun. The actual moment to moment gameplay has gotten significantly more enjoyable as I've gone in. But like I have now seen even more crap waiting in the weeds. So you have all these systems that want you to spend money. Like there's the battle pass, and it wants you to spend money on the empowered battle pass, and it wants you to spend money on the collector's empowered battle pass.
The fact that there are 2 levels of battle pass you can spend money on is amusing to me.
No. That's just the beginning. So then you have this thing that eventually shows up called the Prodigies Path, which is one of those leveling rewards tracks that gacha games end up having, where like you spend some money and we're going to give you something every time you ding.
It gives you some rewards no matter what, but all the good rewards are on the paid half of it.
Yep. That's
Yep.
And then you also have the Boon of Plenty, which is a thing that you have to log in every day for. And
so that really got me when I read about it. You have to spend money to get the daily login rewards.
Yep.
The point of daily login rewards is to keep you engaged, even if you aren't spending money.
Well, so you get daily login rewards, but they're just shitty daily login rewards. You have to spend money to get good daily login rewards. But it's even worse than that. The rewards track, obviously, like most gacha games, won't give you anything that you miss on a day that you didn't log in. However, to get the things that people would actually want, aka the legendary crests, you have to have had like 15 consecutive logins or 30 consecutive logins. So it's not just that if you miss a day, you miss some rewards. If you miss a day, you have screwed up your streak and you're not going to get the legendary crests.
Yeah, okay. So, I mean, a common tactic is to have the streak rewards reset every 7 or so days. And not to so as to avoid that sort of thing. Because when that happens and somebody misses a day, they don't come back to your game.
Yep. So that's a thing. Okay. The other thing that is just total bullshit that has been uncovered is, so there's basic crests and then there's legendary crests, but there's also a difference between legendary crests. There's legendary crests that are the ones that are given away as quote unquote free for all of the bundles you buy, all of the things that are
so costs money, but not directly.
Right. Cost money, but not actually buying crests outright. Then there are eternal legendary crests. And the key difference is anything you get off of the discounted legendary crests, you can't sell on the auction house to generate platinum, to do any sort of a deterministic buy of the gems you actually need.
I mentioned this earlier, but their choice of platinum as the auction house currency seems not coincidental.
Oh, no, I don't think so. I think it's on purpose. Like, this game is a bunch of bad ideas that I have seen from other mobile games, but it's doing all of them.
Yeah, like that's the like all of these things individually, like I've seen before, but they just like every single possible monetization thing that they can take from anywhere, they're throwing them all in there, and it's just like
So,
predatory doesn't even begin to describe it.
so when you unlock the ability to use legendary crests, you are given one free by the game. Then every month you can buy one legendary crest from a vendor in the game, or a currency called hilts, which you get from doing activities, running dungeons, things like that. You can also get a single legendary crest off of the free track of the battle pass. And I'm assuming the rewards on the battle pass are going to be pretty similar each month. And it's on day 20 that you get a single legendary crest. Not day 20, rank 20.
Rank 20, yeah.
So, like, as a free player, you are going to be able to get two, like, you get one to show you the system, and it has a determined gem that always drops for it. So I don't really count that one. But as a free player, you're going to get 2 legendary gem pulls guaranteed. And it is highly unlikely that you're going to get anything decent out of either one of those. So that forces you to lean on the platinum system, which allows you to purchase gems that anyone else is selling.
But as we discussed, you can only get gems to sell if you paid money for the crest you use to get the gems.
So like these are this is a auction house entirely fueled by whales right now. And like when the whales run away, that system will crater. Like because there's no more gems going into the system. So I expect the prices to only go up.
Until they become not available at all.
Yeah, until they become not available at all. And if I do everything that is possible in a single day, I can earn 300 platinum, which is the equivalent of 50 cents or so. And to get one of the gems that I need for a build that was suggested by the game suggests like 3 builds for you to build towards. And one of them that I'm looking at has a 5-star gem in it. And in order to buy that 5-star gem, it would take about $450 worth of platinum or 2.5 years worth of dailies.
Oh my god.
No.
So yeah, like that system is completely inaccessible.
I mean, like I said, it seems like most aspects of this monetization are not designed well to get people to spend money, although some people are going to spend a lot of money. But it seems designed to drive players off.
And I don't get it at all. Like it has been said that part of the reason for launching Diablo Immortal was to introduce Diablo as a thing to the South Korean and Chinese market in preparation for Diablo 4 coming out.
I'm going to suggest that they did not have as high opinion of players in those markets as they should have.
Yeah.
They're not idiots.
Right, like everyone
And there
knows
are so many other games.
Well, and like Diablo is not an unknown quantity. Like
No.
it is kind of a thing. Like people know where the game, like Lineage came from Diablo. But I think all they've done is firebomb the opinion of Diablo in its current state. And it doesn't help that also this week they posted a job for a monetization expert for Diablo 4.
Oh no.
Well,
yeah, so it's just a mess. It's a mess. And like I said, the sad thing is like the game is actually kind of fun, what you can do with it, but I don't know that I'll actually hit level cap like I thought I was, because the needle is moving so slow. And there's a whole other system at place that is basically fighting against me, or will be fighting against me once I hit 60. So remember how cool it felt when you would play with a higher level person and you would just get Paragon levels all the time?
Mm-hmm. Just ding, 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 ding. Yeah.
Well, what if you created a system that removes that situation from ever happening?
Oh.
So there's a thing.
One might argue that the whole level boosting thing is not an ideal behavior, but also,
it kind of felt good, but this other thing is nonsense. Like there is a thing called a server paragon level, and it is what
Right.
has been determined is the average paragon level for people on the server. And I don't think it's actually an average. I think it's just an arbitrary number that gets set because it really shouldn't be as high as it currently is for our server. But if you are above the paragon rating in your current level, it will drastically take experience away from to where at the worst case scenario you're getting 10% of the experience that you should be getting, and it's already like a slog experience wise. Because like realistically it's kind of like New World was, where grinding is not an efficient way to get levels. Instead you want to be completing these like town board activity equivalents,
Mhm.
because they're giving you way more experience than actually going and killing things in the world. So yeah, like all of the players are complaining because like those people who shot ahead are basically stuck in a situation where they can't enter like the next level of torment, which is actually called hell in this game, because like hell levels are not only gated by your gear level, they're gated by your paragon level. And like there's no functional way to get over paragon 30 right now. There's a couple people that are like 31, 32, something like that, but they ground their faces off to get and I don't know how many total paragon levels there are, but you've got people that are basically sitting on caches of gear that they can't use because they can't realistically earn the paragon levels to be able to equip it, because any of the post game gear also has paragon equivalent or paragon requirements to equip.
Oh dear.
So like, you know, some of the biggest YouTubers that are in the like Diablo 3 scene have been, you know, playing this game, and they're sitting on vaults full of perfect gear because they've had nothing better to do than just keep grinding until they got a full vault full of perfect gear, but now they can't do anything with it because
there's no
They
way for
can't-
them to get to the level they
Yep.
can equip it.
Yep, there's no way for them to functionally get to the level they can equip it.
So again, Blizzard is incentivizing the people who have been playing their game the most to go away and not play.
Yep. Yeah, basically
Brilliant.
one YouTuber said that, like realistically he can get about 15 minutes worth of progress every single day before he runs out of ways to... So yeah,
I mean,
like
that
it is
that is a goal in a lot of mobile games.
Yeah.
They want you to get a little bit of progress every day.
Yep.
And a very little bit.
I don't know. So one of the funny things that happened this week is I got a confidential survey from Diablo Immortal swearing me to confidentiality before I took the survey, which it's from a marketing agency. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not going to take any of your confidentiality seriously. But basically it's the equivalent of, do you not have phones? Because everything in this survey was focused on, well, did you not understand how these systems work? Do you not understand how to get gear? Do you not understand how to upgrade? No, like I understand all these things, but I also know like the only ways to actually, you know, gain power in the game are gated behind monetization. So I utilize this serve, light up the marketing agency with all of my thoughts about their monetization schemes. Anyway, it's sad. Like this could have been a pretty cool game. Like it could have been a pretty enjoyable handheld Diablo experience.
Well, I have a feeling the backlash to this is going to taint Diablo 4 too.
It will. It
So,
absolutely
you know,
will. Like if Diablo 4 launches and there's even the whiff of egregious monetization, like the pickets will come out and the castle will be stormed at this point. And like to some extent, I don't condone gamers being all vigilante about things. But also the Diablo community is kind of a beaten animal at this point.
yeah.
They've not gotten much love from Blizzard in a really long time. You know, like Diablo 3 has been a great experience. I enjoyed doing season, but like as far as anything new to that game, like it was real scant coming from that team.
I mean, the last new thing was the Necromancer release.
Right.
Mhm.
And that, I don't know how many years ago that was, but it was several years ago.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
2017, something like that. So, and honestly, like, that's not a new thing. Diablo 2 wasn't super well supported. Diablo 1 didn't get a lot of post content.
I mean, games weren't really
I mean-
live services back then.
No.
Diablo 2 got an expansion, and that's basically what's expected for most games at that point.
Mhm.
Yeah.
The original Diablo got 2 expansions.
They
Yeah,
just
but
weren't made
they
by
were made
Blizzard.
by
They
yeah.
were made by
They're
Sierra.
made by Sierra. I had one of them, Hellfire, but I don't think I ever had the second one.
I had both. They existed.
They were not amazing. Also, I remember Sierra
They were
did
not
an
balanced.
unofficial. They also did an unofficial expansion to StarCraft. And anyway, I mean, so like, there's a lot of animosity to Diablo, and it was there before this, and this did not improve it.
I mean, based on this, I fully expect tokens to be in 4. They'll do it.
I mean, you gotta have your battle pass nowadays.
And you know, that's the thing is like, had Diablo Immortal launched and it had a battle pass and it had cosmetic, they probably would have gotten money from me.
Hmm.
Like really, they probably would have gotten
mean,
money from me. Like the battle pass is fine.
Currently, Blizzard is not in a state where it's going to get money from me, but still.
Yeah, same. But that is a monetization scheme I would not have
Yeah,
a
like
problem with.
I don't mind battle passes. I don't mind cosmetics. Those are reasonable ways to get money out of a free to play game.
I mean, I give ArenaNet plenty of money for cosmetics.
I said, giving Arena a decent chunk of money for cosmetics
Quality
and some
of life
non-cosmetics.
items as well. Yeah, it's strange.
And like, are given digital extremes a lot more money too. And that is a game where you can just directly buy power,
Mm-hmm.
just straight up. But like, it is one, reasonable to do so, and two, you actually can farm it if you don't care to give them money.
Yeah.
Right. And that's kind of important. And it's not an unreasonable farm either. Like, it's kind of time consuming, but it's
I mean,
cool.
the other thing is the best way to buy power is from other players, so somebody had to farm it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
like, even that would have made this a better option if everybody could just sell the gems that they got that weren't what they wanted. And eventually the prices would start to come down and it would be reasonable to take your 50 cents worth of platinum that you earned every day and buy the thing you wanted. But yeah, no, I mean, their implementation was just so wholly unreasonable. I will say there was one piece of this game that I really would love someone like ArenaNet to steal. I actually think the PvP mode is kind of cool. Like, it's a good map. I would love to see that map rendered in Guild Wars 2 PvP. Basically, one side is attacking and the other side is defending, and there are these two statues, and you have to basically move. If you can keep people from being on the other side of the stat. I don't know how to explain it. Like the statue tilts basically towards whichever direction the combat is moving, and you have to basically push the statue across this catwalk area. But there's one on either side, so you technically need to be defending both statues. And if you,
I mean, at first it sounded like you're talking about some of the, like, you remember back to the Warhammer MMOs, attack defense modes.
I vaguely remember something like this existing, where so there's basically like these two statues,
Those
and if
those
you can,
felt like they were inspired by Unreal Tournament.
if you can push through the statue, it will tilt and follow you. So like basically if blue people are on the red side of the statue will start moving towards the red side. If red people are on the blue side of the statue, it'll start moving towards the blue side, and whichever side it gets to will basically end the match. But it ends up being this interesting tug of war on a bridge, but there's two of those going on at the same time, and it would be kind of a cool game mode. I could absolutely see this playing out with the PvP structure in Guild Wars 2. I also don't understand why I kind of like the PvP structure in Guild Wars 2. Like, I know we've
It's very
talked about
fun.
this, but like, it's fun. Like, it's shockingly chill. And I either play one match and get all three, or play one match and get two. And decide if that's all I want for the day. So, Thalen, at this point, you have played Talos Principle.
I have played the Talos Principle, which I decided to play. I already owned it. I've had it. I don't know how long, but when Ash asked me what I knew about Stanley Parable, I mentioned robots. There aren't any robots in the Stanley Parable. I was thinking of the Talos Principle, which is a completely different game.
Very different game.
Like, it's basically The Witness, but a little less up its own ass. I mean, it's
That's
very
a feature.
it's very philosophical. I mean, it's like very philosophical. But you're a robot, and like this voice from the heavens tells you that it's Elohim, and that you must collect sigils to prove yourself worthy for eternal life, and collect these sigils for him. And there's a tower in the center, and the tower is not for you, and you must ascend the tower, for only death awaits at the top of the tower. So, of course, I'm going to go up
because I wasn't entirely sure. This game does, in fact, predate The Witness.
Predate what?
The Witness.
Oh, does it? Okay.
Yes.
I mean, I like them. I like them both, but I like this better. But it's so of course I'm going to go up that tower, because the voice in the sky told me not to. Also, you are a robot. Like, this is pretty clearly established. I mean, the very first scene is you like waking up and putting your metal hand up to block the sun out from your eyes, but you don't know what's going on. Clearly, other robots have gone through these puzzles before and have left messages in the form of QR codes that you can read. I mean, like I think I've got a pretty good idea of what's going on at this point, but I'll stay away from spoilers. And the puzzles are basically mostly about, it'll be an area with kind of maybe a small maze-like area. Maybe there's some little robot things patrolling. Maybe there's turrets, walls that can be like force field walls. And like starting out, you have jammers that you can use to turn these things off. Like, you can carry a jammer around, and then you can set it down, point it at one of these things, and it will deactivate that thing as long as the jammer's pointed at it. And so that's what you start with. And then you get additional tools that you like unlock that are in some of these puzzles. Like, the puzzles make it very clear, like, you need to have these tools unlocked to do this puzzle. So, but it's pretty neat. I enjoy the puzzles. There's also like the puzzles involving the sigils. When you collect them, you use them to open things, and those are kind of annoying because it's taking Tetris pieces and trying to make them into a square or a rectangle. And some of the rectangles are really big. I might have cheated on those. I avoid cheating on the other puzzles, but the Tetris things, I don't have time for that. But yeah, no, it's a good game. It's been around for a while. Obviously, it predates The Witness, but if you never got around to it, it's pretty fun. Well reviewed. I've yet to see a cat in it. Cover photo is a robot holding a cat.
That's that's a shame.
Yeah, I don't think you can pet the cat or the dog.
I would like a little truth in advertising there. Thank you.
I mean, maybe there's a cat at the top of the tower. Maybe that's what's up there. I don't know.
I mean,
I haven't gotten there yet.
It's the tower where God lives, so it makes sense there's a cat there.
I mean, it would. I mean, presumably God's up there. I don't know. He just told me stay away from it. I don't know. When I go in there, he can't see me anymore. So
I know nothing about this game, but there apparently is a cat ending.
Oh, okay, good.
So, I have no idea what this takes.
I'll have to pursue that one specifically.
Pursue cat %.
I was afraid that maybe the cat was a lie.
I mean, it might be. Like I said, I know nothing.
Oh, and also while you're doing all this, there's terminals scattered around the way that you can connect to, that you can download various like bits of data from off of the internet or emails and things between scientists in a project that is, clearly related to what's going on here, and piece together some, notion of what's going on. And also there is an assistance program that starts being more and more helpful and like holds conversations with you. And Elohim doesn't seem to like it very much. Tells me to ignore it. So,
That's going to end well.
Yeah. The assistance program, was basically like, yeah, maybe you should go in the tower. Or I don't know, maybe you shouldn't go in the tower. And like, basically just starts being like, well, he says don't go in the tower, so maybe you should. But maybe that's the whole thing. Maybe it's a test. Maybe he's trying to see, if you're brave enough to get in the tower. I don't know. But yeah, also I did play the Stanley Parable because I guess after finding out that I had never played it, Ash gave me a copy of the Stanley Parable, and so I have now embraced a bucket and pushed a button to save a baby. And
Oh, you pushed the button to save a baby?
I mean, a couple of times.
Did you push it enough to get the save the baby ending?
I mean, the narrator said that would take 4 hours, so no,
Uh-huh.
I did not.
You didn't get the save the baby ending then.
No, I'm a terrible person. Clearly, I hate babies.
I have seen the save the baby ending. I have never gotten it myself.
Like that.
There are
sounds
certain
like something.
things that aren't worth playing through, but are good for playthroughs. Like Let's Play, watch it.
Yeah, I mean that sounds like something where you need to like make a little button presser out of Lego Technic or something and set that up and walk away for 4 hours.
Keyboard macros.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
that's true. That's true. I do. have a keyboard
No.
that
The
can do
problem
macros.
is that they specifically design it so you can't do keyboard macros.
Of course they did.
Because about, I think, a half hour in, they introduce a second button you have to start pressing.
Oh God.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, it's a very interesting game. The closet ending is definitely my favorite.
Uh-huh.
It's the best.
I'm going to assume that you've died. Hello? Is someone there? This is the Stanley Parable. You know what? It's going to take too long to explain this. Welcome to the game, player 2.
And then go back into the closet.
You
can go in twice.
I was going to say you can go in twice. After that, he boards it up.
After that, he boards it up. Yes.
Did you play Ultra Deluxe?
Yes.
So you got to see new content.
I did see the new content. Very fancy. No, because I said I had the bucket. I've done some done some of the game and I've gotten one bucket ending. It was somewhat disturbing.
So having played that, did you appreciate the care and detail that somebody went to make Unity feel like Source?
Yes, that is very impressive because it does feel like Source.
So, like, do you know how they did that?
No.
No idea.
I'm sure it was just trickery, but it would be hilarious if someone basically wrote some sort of interpreter for Unity that reads source.
Well,
There would be no real reason to do that.
Yeah, I was gonna say the
Apart from for
problem
this
is
game.
the physics felt like Source.
Yeah, they probably just had to reprogram the physics. Like, Source is well studied at this point, so probably that's a thing.
God, source is really old at this point, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Uh-huh.
Like, mentally, I still think of it as a fairly modern engine,
Ah.
but it is not at all a fairly
That's
modern
because
engine.
you still believe Half-Life 2 Episode 3 could come out.
Well, no, like, so the curse of being Gen X is, on some level, you feel like the 90s were just 10 years ago.
Yeah, like
Yep.
everything was like, maybe 10 years ago.
Hmm.
Sitting at home watching G.I. Joe, that's maybe
Yeah,
10 years ago.
that was a decade ago. No, it was not. It was very much not. It's
It was
almost
not.
3 decades ago. I'm
I
old.
mean, I'm starting to hit this for stuff that was in the early 2000s.
Mhm. Like I remember all these things too well. It can't have been more than 10 years ago.
Uh-huh.
Exactly.
That's it's just not feasible.
Yeah, but the problem with that exchange is you can't remember what you did yesterday. But you can remember
Sometimes.
in intricate detail something that happened 30 years ago.
Oh, absolutely. Like I started up the original Legend of Zelda, to show my son, and then started playing it, and all that stuff, it's still in my brain.
Yeah, you know which bush to burn,
Uh-huh.
which rock to push.
It's all still there. Do I need any of this?
No, you don't.
Not in the slightest.
Yeah, I kind of wish that I could selectively cull bits and pieces of my memory because, like, there's things I remember that I have no good reason for remembering. I will never need to know this, but it's up there. So, Kodra, Ash, since y'all joined a little late, do y'all have any topics that you want to talk about tonight?
Not really. I've been putting together a 3D printer, and that's an interesting experience.
I don't know that I have much to talk about other than I have been playing End of Dragons, and that's a fun start.
It is like it's really good content though. Like it's a very enjoyable expansion so far.
Also,
I mean, I finished it, but yeah, I mean, I assume you're pretty early into it.
I'm still pretty early in. I'm still really enjoying Mechanist. It's weird playing my engineer and feeling as powerful as I do. Because
I deeply wish that Longbow Ranger were actually a meta viable spec for anything other than the PvP shenanigans I get up to.
Why is it not?
I mean, I haven't checked, but aren't there meta power damage longbow ranger builds?
Yeah, but I mean, longbow greatsword is. I mean, that's like the standard soul beast weapons. Like that's what I use.
Okay,
Works fine.
That must be the piece of it that I'm missing. Is I now like Soul Beast is the one where you turn into the beast, right?
It's the one where you can merge with
your pet, yes, and then you ignore that you have a pet, pretty much, because you never unmerge into basically any reasonable Soul Beast build.
Yeah, I guess I need to dive into the Soul Beast variant because like right now I am running a vanilla ranger longbow, which is very good for PvP. Is also pretty good for world versus world. But
no, in World v World, like loss of the pet in Soul Beast is actually kind of a big deal. So people actually use the pet.
Yeah, no, I use the pet in both PvP and in World versus World. I run around with my graboid. I mean, whatever the hell those things are called.
Smoke scale.
Smoke scale, yeah. But they look like a graboid from Trimmers. I'm sorry.
They do.
I mean, the entire purpose of these is to be crazy annoying and make things impossible to hit.
They're real annoying, especially when I sick them on somebody else.
So the thing about Soul Beast is you get some abilities from your pet, and that's one of the abilities you get, as it turns out.
I have Soul Beast. That is the only specialization that I've unlocked in my Ranger. I did not expect
it's the only one worth using. I mean, wait.
I didn't expect to spend as much time playing the Ranger as I do.
Ranger's pretty fun.
At some point, I will probably pick up Druid and try a healing build.
I don't really like Druid as a healing class.
So Druid was their first attempt at a proper full healer, right?
Yeah,
and the problem is Druid is great at healing, but the issue that you run into...
No. I know you're going to say some things, but they're incorrect because Rangers bring some unique buffs that aren't boots.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, I've heard the problem is that...
no, Ranger can't bring quickness or alacrity.
Yeah.
For right now. I think there are plans to fix that.
Yeah.
But Rangers do have some unique buffs that aren't that. Spotter is definitely one. Just a group-wide precision buff.
Ooh, that sounds pretty good.
Spirits are kind of great. Just flat % damage buff. And Druid has some abilities to make spirits better. So, it's still a useful support. Extremely useful support.
I'm trying to figure out what I want to try for a healer build across the board.
I have a very strong recommendation for you.
Is a good build.
That was going to be the recommendation for you.
I have Scourge unlocked. I have Necro completely unlocked.
Yeah, apparently Scourge
is bad at making health go up, but it can be an excellent healer.
Yeah.
It also has the same problem Druid does in that it doesn't provide alacrity or quickness. It does, however, provide a shit ton of might.
Yeah.
I'm really tempted to try a Mechanist healer.
Mechanist?
You know what Mechanist does provide? Alacrity.
Yes.
There is a Mechanist.
Right. Scrapper provides quickness. Mechanist provides alacrity.
Yep.
I thought there was a Mechanist build that basically could provide every boon.
They nerfed that.
Oh, is that nerfed into the ground now?
The support thing that gave you all boons, that got nerfed.
Okay. Because it seemed crazy.
Yeah.
I have Mechanist unlocked. I like Mechanist quite a bit. I just haven't been playing the Mechanist since I got it to 80.
I mean,
I don't know why.
It is the number one thing I play, and it feels so good. I've been spending my time... Oh, I do want to comment, because I've been spending my time hunting Karka.
Oh, do you need Karka shells for...
No, I need a Karka to feed Dragonite to.
Oh.
Oh,
You've been out looking for little bitty Karka to
I've
pop a
I've
pelt rifle.
I've been
Yeah.
hunting Karka.
Okay, I need to do this thing because
Uh,
I really need.
I
the
will
thing to
say,
feed
if you are
Dragonite to.
running, just get Blishud or Taco or something. Just do it.
I mean,
I-
I have the paths that would allow me to basically just see them. I need to do it kind of one setting.
I did it without any tools. I just finished it actually.
My problem was staying alive in the jumping puzzle when I did it.
I had no problem with that. Again, maybe that's because Mechanist is broken, but that doesn't seem right because I had my mech away.
No, my issue was just like I was doing a very, very bad job in the jumping puzzle and died in the entrance more times than I care to admit.
Ah, fair.
Yeah.
No,
I have my position rewinder, so
That doesn't help you if you die.
oh,
Also, you need to be carrying a bundle, so that doesn't help you anyway.
that sucks.
yeah. But I will just say somebody at ArenaNet really likes building just impossible to find places into these maps.
Yes.
Like Lion's Arch, this version of Lion's Arch existed before this this achievement. And like there are places in here that there is no way you should ever find.
But also, this achievement predated mounts, so every single one of these is something you can get to without a mount.
Yes, but it definitely helps to have a sky scale.
Well, yeah, it would.
Except for the jumping puzzle where they take away your sky scale.
I've put off doing this because it's 50. And if I ever started it and tried to pick back up, I would forget where the hell I left off.
I absolutely did it in one sitting because same reason basically.
Like there's no way I can remember which one that I've already hit. So I'd have to go hit them all again.
I will admit I did this last night and tonight, and I basically I swept zone by zone, so I did not have to worry about that.
Okay, so you divided it up into the map sectors.
Yep.
So the wiki page for the achievement, you can put your API key in there, and it'll gray out all the ones that you've already gotten.
Oh, nice. That's good.
That's pretty standard at this point for achievements that are like find these 15, 20, 50 things. Like all of the achievements for finding the baby shrine guardians in End of Dragons, like they do that too. You can put in your API key, it'll gray out the ones you've already found.
I don't think Blishud will.
No, it doesn't have access to your API key.
Well, like there are some add-ons in Blishud that do have access to your API key if you configure them. Blishud is a little bit more advanced than Taco.
Yeah, I have not installed Blishud. I used Taco for it, like when I did this, which has to have been over a year ago now.
But yeah, I am finally I've gotten over the hump. I'm getting onto stuff that is interesting. I'm working on a legendary. Like this game has an amount of like you got to get into it to start to see all of the stuff. But once you start to see all of the stuff, it works really well. I will say it kind of feels like it works too well for people as they get more invested in this game, and doesn't work well enough for people who are just kind of casually playing it.
I mean, it is known that new player experience is a problem.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a certain lay of the land that you almost have to have before any of it makes sense. And things like, so one of the things that came out is they have simplified the dungeon.
Yes.
This happened like 2 days ago, and nobody expected it.
Yeah, it was just like Reddit was just all like, what? Dungeons are supporting content now? What?
Yeah. I
mean, I'm as surprised as anyone.
Yeah, no kidding.
But if they continue to make decisions along these lines, this will greatly improve the new player experience. Because right now, there's entirely too many currencies for too many things.
Yes.
I mean, like, I get that it is a meme of going to the wiki to figure things out, but like,
it shouldn't be.
The number of times I have to go to the wiki for things that I even vaguely know how they work is many.
Yeah. I mean, I might as well have the Hope wiki bookmarked at this point.
I will say for things like Legendaries, which tend to follow a very established pattern, becomes less of a thing, but only after you learn the pattern.
Right. And honestly, like, I hate to say it, but the legendaries kind of start to make a certain sense after a while.
I managed to finally get Tangled Depths complete, so I have a Heart of Maguma Mastery, or a Gift of Maguma Mastery.
I do not have. I don't know if I have any of them.
Tangled Depths is the worst because
It
of
is a
mushrooms.
Yeah.
I mean, I've completed Verdant Brink on many characters. I've completed Dragon Stand on I think 2.
Dragon
and the other
Stand,
2 have only completed on 1 character each.
Dragon Stand is pretty easy.
Dragon Stand is extremely easy. You just have to be there for Dragon Stand's meta.
Right. You have to have done basically each of the paths.
No,
I mean, not really, because you can just, after you finish the meta, you can just do it.
yeah, you
Oh,
can
I
just
guess
go
that's true.
everywhere after the meta's done. The map stays open for a while.
I think I've got like some destination that requires gliding to get to, but you need like the unlimited gliding.
Oh, well, I mean, that's not going to be a problem for me because
I don't have a sky skill like you have.
No.
At the time I was doing this, I didn't have unlimited.
I mean,
gliding.
you need a gift of gliding for
I need a gift.
Legendaries.
I need a gift of gliding. Yeah, no, I need a gift of gliding, a gift of the Exalted, a gift of Dewhawk, and a gift of Itzel. No, that's my next thing. It's going to be awful. I get to live in Heart of Thorns content. It's not going to be fun.
I mean, I love the metas in Heart of Thorns.
Yeah,
But-
I guess that's the good of news.
But also, like, the rest of the content, I'm not a fan of.
But yeah, no, I have to max out my Heart of Thorns masteries in order to get that.
That sounds like a big oof.
How do you
That's
get
the
that
thing
on
I haven't done.
How do you get that on a second character? Or how do you get that if you want to have a second legendary?
I mean, the gifts are just things you buy.
Oh,
you
there's
just have
things
to after
you
you have
buy.
the mastery maxed.
Got
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, and then you just have to spend some
Then
zone
you
currency.
have the mastery maxed. So
At least I guess I don't want to buy them until I have the ball because I don't need them eating up inventory space.
Correct.
that sounds correct. Yes.
That was the problem for the fact that I had the gift of the fleet and the gift of whatever Dragon Stand is, and then I got gift of Arc Basin, and it was like, oh nope, got gift of Tarir, and it's like, nope, gotta go do all of this. I can't have 3 of these eating up inventory space.
Yeah, and that is why I have not completed Tangled Depths or Arc Basin on any other characters.
I need to get serious about finishing my precursor because I really think that I'm getting terribly close to having everything I need to just complete a Twilight.
I mean,
Quite
that's-
possibly.
Just to missing the precursor.
I mean,
Because
the
like I've got my Mystic Coins now. Or not Mystic Coins, Mystic Clovers.
Clovers.
I mean, that's the biggest part of it.
I've got like
I mean that and trophy resources.
yeah, trophy resources. I'm just gonna have to finance that with American Express. I mean, it's gonna be I'm gonna burn through some of my stash of cash to buy them because I've got some of each of them, but I don't have enough of each of them.
Yeah, enough is 250.
Right. Yeah, I don't have two.
And the other thing is the Gift of Darkness.
I don't remember what the Gift of Darkness was, but I think I've got part of it done.
Gift of the unique legendary. The parts of a legendary gift that are unique to each weapon are the ones that follow the least pattern. So they're the ones that I basically don't remember any of them.
Yeah, so Gift of Ascalon, which I will have to.
You might just have the currency for that now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that
I
was
might
easy.
just have the currency for that because like that was going to be the problem. That was going to be the thing I had to grind out. I have the rest of the materials for that because I know I went through the process of looking at this. Because like I've built back up my Onyx Lodestones since I last spent a lot of Onyx Lodestones, and having 3 guild halls to raid has been good for Onyx Lodestones.
Wait, why?
Get them off of mining.
That's obsidian shards.
Oh, I'm thinking of something else. Are Onyx Lodestones the ones you just have to buy off the vendor?
No, they're
No,
rare.
they're
They
crafting
drop,
mat.
but yeah, they're pretty rare.
They're a fairly rare crafting mat.
Okay, now I'm confused. I thought in my head I thought they were the obsidian things. I don't know how many of these I have.
Probably a number between 30 and 100.
And I need 100 for
That's my guess.
Yeah,
You might have more.
I'm looking at the stats. I know I've got the 250 orichalcum and the 250 hard leather because I've held on to that much of it. Now I am checking because I can. Oh my, no, I have nowhere near enough.
Yeah.
I have 11.
Yeah,
right.
that sounds more likely. Yeah.
So that will also be financed just through gold.
Those you can get as map bonus rewards, and that's probably worth doing if you need some specific type.
Okay.
I mean, take a look at what map rewards Onyx Lodestones this week. There might not be any of them.
Wait,
there is one
what
this
does
week.
that mean?
It's South Sun. South Sun this week.
South?
Oh,
is this
never
like
mind. Just pay money for them. Just pay money for them.
Just pay money.
You have gold.
I do have gold.
I'm using my gold for financing all of my iron and platinum ore.
Do you need platinum?
I'm just gonna have to
Yes.
get
I get a
those.
lot of platinum because I zone into Sparkfly Fen about 30 minutes before Tequatl and just run amok and harvest
Oh,
there. So
I
have
need-
a lot of platinum, I think.
I tend to go to Fireheart Rise for this.
I need so much dark
Also
steel.
goodness, yeah.
Well, I just want to be on a good map, and they have tons of
That makes
platinum in
sense.
there. Like, what else am I gonna do for 30 minutes?
Hey, it's a good source of gold right now if you need gold to buy lodestones, dragon coffers.
True End of Dragons.
Okay, I don't have many ingots because I've burned through my ingots, but I have
No.
1,229 ore.
I don't need ingots because I don't want platinum ingots. I want platinum ore.
Yeah,
Dark steel ingots are the necessary thing there.
I have 1,229
Oh my
platinum
goodness.
ore.
Yes, I want so much. I have such a hunger for platinum right now.
Tell you what, I'm just gonna throw them in the guild bank and you can pull them
Thanks.
out.
Well, because dark steel Deldrimore ingots requires a ton of platinum.
Yes, it does.
I just bought the stupid things. Like
I make those.
I made what I could, and then I just bought the remainder, whatever step I was.
My big shortcoming on Deldrimore Steel is always iron ore.
Yeah.
Because it takes iron and it takes steel and
Yup.
it takes platinum. And platinum is mostly found mixed in with mithril, so whatever.
I feel
Iron
like
is found mixed in with gold, which is useless.
Slightly
like-
less useless than it was, but
Look.
still pretty useless. You need a lot of gold to make jade bot cores.
Yeah, but don't you only need to do this once?
I mean,
I guess
There's
it's
a
once
lot
per
of-
character.
there's a lot of upgrade levels to those cores, and yeah, you need one per character.
Oh, it's not account bound? That's interesting.
I mean, they're a piece of gear, basically.
I mean, you could trade them around between characters, but you kind of need a core for each character.
Yeah. Okay, there's ore in the bank for you, Kodra.
Neat.
A lot of it.
All right. So we have. Do we have anything else actually like
I mean, I've been
interesting
watching.
to a podcast audience to talk
I
about?
have been watching fun stuff. We've now gotten exposed to Bluey season 3 and the magical land of the 80s.
Yeah, I need to watch that. The only thing I've watched in the past week, the only thing I've watched for entertainment, is the Mystery Science Theater episode for Munchie. Boy, that's a bad movie.
I will say,
But I definitely need to watch. I need to watch Bluey season 3. I need to watch Ms. Marvel.
Bluey season 3 is excellent.
So I do have one more thing that's happened. I last talked about this game. New World continues to make phenomenally good choices. It's not
the largest
helping.
amount of sarcasm you can possibly muster.
No, I am being dead serious. Like, these are positive choices. It's not
It's
really
about
helping.
time.
It's not really like there's a bunch of things that have happened. Like, they made it so storing things in banks are free and you can remove and add materials from any other bank. So it just basically gives you a massively large amount of total storage. Teleport is only 20 Azoth ever. And I think I talked about some of these things, but some of the things that they announced they're doing is they're just removing dungeon keys from the game.
Oh.
Good.
You will be able to run 15 normal dungeons a day and I don't remember if it was 5 or if it was 8 mutators, but like you're just gonna be able to run dungeons whenever you want.
I mean, that sounds like plenty.
And if you had any keys sitting in your inventory, they're just turning into loot boxes for that dungeon. You'll
All right.
get a bunch of pieces of loot from that dungeon. They're going through and removing all of the reagents from crafting other than the highest end one. And basically every reagent you loot anywhere in the world is just the best version. So sandpaper flux, all of that stuff. There's no longer, the crappy reagent and the mediocre reagent and the actual good reagent. There's just the good reagent. Like, so there's
Good.
a bunch of tweaks that they're making to the game. Like one of the things that they did in the last round of updates is they just increased the rare nodes in the world for tier 4 and 5 nodes. So like there's just a bunch of orichalcum in the world, just a bunch of ironwood in the world. It's still contested, but like it's not anywhere as heavily contested. They're apparently tweaking crafting so that it is easier to level. And they're doing it by making it so that the tier 4 and tier 5 crafts just reward massive amounts more XP.
Oh, so I'm not going on these massive long, like grab all of my stuff, turn it into as much stuff as possible, and maybe get like a sliver of XP, and then just keep doing that over and over ad infinitum.
Yeah, that's basically like they're making it so that the optimal way for leveling is not going to be making
The worst
300,000 iron daggers.
Okay, that's neat. Neat idea.
You should actually make the best things that you can make.
Right. Yeah.
Brilliant.
And that is apparently what the goal is by buffing tier 4 and tier 5.
I mean, this was true at tier 2, I'm going to point out. Like,
yeah, I mean they did some of that already.
Okay.
But the end game was still, these materials are way too expensive to ever use for crafting purposes. So you'll grind it through any other means and then just use these for final crafts. They're apparently reworking furnishing and weaponsmithing because they're just a mess to level right now, so that they feel more in line with the rest of the trades. So like it's all universally good changes. Like Elian and I were reading through the notes the other day, and it's all good. Like this is I don't see any negatives here. Only problem is it's not really stemming the tide of people leaving the game, which is kind of sad because like the game is in the best state it's ever been, and it's gonna get better. So I don't know. Like it makes me very sad. I've said it's too little, too late, even though I would love it not to be too little, too late. Because like there's a lot of moments in that game that are really fun, and with the right tweaks, like it's a really fun experience. But I just don't know if it's going to be a permanent change. Like I don't know if it's going to actually bring people back.
Yeah.
I mean, they're adding more dungeons. They're going to be opening up a new area. So I don't know. Oh, any final comments?
It's Dragon Bash. Come remember the slaying of the dragon everyone's forgotten about.
Yeah.
Unless you started crafting a new legendary, in which case you probably remember this very strongly because they just added a new version for it.
Zai who?
Look, nobody's going to
Happy
claim that
Dragon.
the naming of these things was a good idea.
No, Zaitan, like, it's really interesting because I remember Zaitan as, like, mostly a forgettable character, and all of the other dragons have been more interesting than him.
Pretty much.
Yes.
King as intended.
But yeah, beat up holograms, earn dragon coffers, sell them for lots of cash.
You can also open them if you are interested in some of the weapon skins that come out.
Yeah,
If
there are
If
unique.
you
weapon
aren't
skins.
interested in those weapon skins, you should probably just sell them.
Like basically, there is an infusion that is a super rare possible
Yeah, but
drop.
that's not
for the
going
thing.
to happen.
But that is what people.
Do not open it for the infusion.
That is what
You
the
will
people
not get it.
buying. That is what the people buying these are hunting for, and that's why they're paying 17 silver per coffer. Take advantage of this.
I mean, they're kind of cool weapons because they kind of have an almost Monster Hunter feel to them.
Yeah.
Anyway, hopefully you enjoyed the show, And I don't know. We'll see you next time.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
See ya.